Okay, now, let's look at databases. Before we go much further, I would just like to run through some of the information that is available to you now that we have installed the software. Here you have your downloads information for the default environments Mac, Linux and Windows. There is also a README file for the client properties, which we will go through a little later in more detail. Here we have the server properties file. If I open this file up, we have some instructions on how to set things up, or if PaperCut is already installed, how the software has been configured. You see here you have the port information, port 9191 and 9192. This is where you will change it subject to the site requirements. Up here you will see the admin user and password detail. Password is the default password when a new installation is being done. If in the event you wanted to change a password, you would copy the password line as you see here, then add a hash to the original line, so that PaperCut couldn't read it, and then create a suitable password. You would then change the password in the admin dashboard under the Options tab. Further down, you can see if the site is using an internal or external database. We can see here that they are using an internal database, as the external database has a hash at the beginning of each line, which means that PaperCut cannot read it. If you wanted to change from an internal to an external database, you would add the hash to the internal database section and remove from the SQL as seen here. The Not for Resale license, otherwise known as the NFR, is available as download from the portal. Simply click on the Admin tab on the Reseller dashboard and then locate the NFR license from the drop-down box. Once you have accessed the area, you have options to download a new NFR. For the sake of this exercise, I will use an existing license. Once the license has downloaded, return to the PaperCut dashboard and in particular the About tab. Here you will see that I have a trial license installed. The information as I scroll down has the version, when it was created and what elements are being used. For a new site you can access a fully loaded trial license for 40 days. However, if you are wanting to install an embedded, you have 7 days to trial that feature. As we cross down to the bottom, we have the area to upload this license file, and the NFR is installed. Now you can see that the information has changed. I have more features available, allowing a better demonstration experience. Looking at the database element now, and as previously noted, the PaperCut application when installed, creates its own internal database using the Apache Derby application. Apache Derby was previously known as IBM Cloudscape, and is now maintained by the Apache Foundation with the help of Sun Oracle. The Apache Foundation has even used PaperCut as a Derby case study application. The database doesn't need any sort of configuration to set up. It's completely self-maintaining and works perfectly for up to 5,000 users. In larger sites, you may find that running the reports is a little slow. The recommendation might be to use an external database. You do, of course, have the option to use the external databases even in smaller sites. PaperCut supports the following external databases straight out of the box: Microsoft SQL Server 2000, 2005, 2008, 2012, either 32 or 64-bit Microsoft SQL Express 2005, 2008, 2012, free from Microsoft PostgreSQL 7.1 Plus, which is a free open-source database, MySQL 5.0 Plus, another a free open-source database, or even Oracle 9.2 Plus, which includes the free Oracle Express edition. It's possible to migrate to an external database at any time, and not a decision that needs to be made on day one of a PaperCut deployment. If a site is already using SQL with other applications, then we can run PaperCut off the back of that. Most sites will have a database administrator, or someone who would look after the databases, so we would work with them to get PaperCut up and running in the external database. To upgrade PaperCut from the external database, you would just have to follow the required steps. There is a chapter available on this in the portal. Simply search external databases, as I am here, and the article will be available to you. In addition to this, there is a further article available if you plan on using the raw data for a customer report. The article can also be found in the knowledge base. When you have accessed the page, you will be asked to nominate the correct environment, which will then lead you to the database schema drawing. To ensure that we have enough disk storage on the database server where we are running PaperCut, there is another knowledge base article available to you to read through at your leisure. The article offers advice on the gigabyte requirements versus print job volume regardless of whether you are using an internal or external database. The article also covers growth potential to ensure that you have enough information and advice to plan capacity. PaperCut is also supported in a clustered environment, with no special configuration required. There is again another article available to you that goes into a little more detail on the cluster setup. The PaperCut portal really is going to be the best source of information and knowledge that you will have to hand to help you through the installation and setup process. I would set a challenge to anyone to find a scenario that wasn't covered somewhere or somehow by PaperCut. And now for the next step, I would like you to complete the following exercise to ensure that you have understood this section on databases. That completes the section on databases. I hope you find it useful. Please feel free to call the Paytech office if you have any further queries.